this is the first time, like, I don't really talk about this. This is the first time I'm really talking about it, other than like with my girlfriend occasionally, my
I
family a little
appreciate
bit.
it.
But after the injury, my first thought was immediately, I'm gonna go get this thing again. What I didn't realize is the next 6 months of my life consisted of things changing for me.
Talking about podcasts, because one of the things that you also said is there's many people starting podcasts. Quite a bit. It's quite an oversaturated market. So I don't know what the fuck we're doing, but apparently we have a passion that we want to pursue. But crazy, crazy statistic. Um, yes, when you launch 21 episodes, you're in the top 1% of podcasters. 99% quit before episode 21. 90% don't get past episode 3. And it's only 92% of people that get past episode 10.
Mm.
This is, of course, a statement about consistency. It's very easy to win if you just stay consistent because most people are too lazy, I think. I don't know if lazy is the right word,
I
but
think it's
most
the right
people
word.
just,
I
yeah.
think it's the right word. I think 100% is the right word. I'll tell you this. I got into the content creation game not too long ago. I ended my football career and I decided that this is what I wanted to do and see where I can take it. I was kind of doing it, in and out for the past 18 months. But starting in March, I was like, this is what I'm going to do. So the first goal of mine was I'm going to post on Instagram every single day and TikTok for 100 days straight. It was from
Higher up wellness challenge.
Higher Water Challenge, Michael Smoke.
Yes.
He got me into it and I was like, I'm just going to do this. So I started, recording. And for 57 days, my highest viewed video was 180 views. And I'll be very honest with you. I think most people, after they started looking at numbers, would have quit. And to be honest, I think that's a laziness thing. I think that's a lack of motivation. I think it's a lack of trust in yourself. And I think it's, wanting to see the short-term return and short-term gain. When I was just listening to this before, you know, why are people who go to medical school, for example,
Hmm.
oh, thumbs up, nice. Why are people who go to medical school, for example, so committed to doing 6 years in their program? Well, because on the other side of it, you're going to get this median salary. You're going to get paid good money. But in the content game, why are people so keen to want to succeed in the first 30 days, first 60 days? Well, because it's risk. You don't know on the other side of it if there's going to be success. But what we see through anything, that if you stay consistent, success on the other side. So yeah, I personally think it's a lack of trust and a little bit of a laziness thing. A lot of people are working full-time jobs while they're doing content. So it's hard to go home after 9 to 5 and do content. So I think it's a mix, like you said, maybe not fully laziness, but also just a lack of access and a lack of trust in yourself.
Do you also think it's a lack of patience? One thing that I've encountered with myself is the content game. I've been doing this for 2 years, and the usual average views are like 2,000. It's not that much. Highest video was like 1.6 million or something, but that wasn't even my video. It was just an edit with Chris Williamson, and so the gratification of the high numbers didn't really go to myself. And then I was like, okay, I have to at least make this with my own video. So
Mm.
that's my next goal. But there's also many kids, I call them kids, but many starting people who get to like 90K followers in their first 30 days. And sometimes I'm also like, dude, fuck this. Maybe maybe I'm not made for this.
I hear you. I used to be, my algorithm was filled with people who would tell you, here's how you grow on social media. Like, I remember when I first started, like, you scroll and see, like, oh, like this video, press share, comment this, let's all grow together. Like, that's how I started the content game. It's kind of, this was like a year ago. I was going to be the guy who motivated people to post on social media and like tell you how to grow. Like, oh, if you do a story post on TikTok, it gets more reach nowadays. Like, and I think that stuff's just so, people monetize that and I respect it. And I'm not saying anything bad about that, but like, listen, I think that, like, people are so focused on the short-term gain and the gratification of opening up your Instagram and seeing, 99 plus likes, 99 followers, seeing like the icons pop up because that's what we're told is like, good and rewarding. But kind of what I've tried to lean into, and I think this is where I've started to grow, um, is I've stopped looking at numbers and started looking at value I'm offering. So, I mean, right now I think I have 3,400 followers. I started 6 weeks ago and things are, going well and I feel good about, listen, at the end of the day, like, I'm not necessarily looking at the number of followers I have. I'm looking at the value I'm offering to people that I'm trying to help.
Mhm.
I found my niche. I found what I care about. And for me, how I measure success is, did I help a family today? Did I help a kid? Did I provide value to somebody who can take it and be better because of this? And if I did, that's a win. If I get no followers from it, that's okay. And I think the separation between numbers and like the audience equity, how much your followers trust you, want to listen to you, and like want to keep coming back to you is more important. I would rather 100 loyal followers than 100,000 people who don't even know me and just randomly press follow because of a viral video.
Hmm. This ties into, do you know Caleb Rolstone?
Yes, I do.
Yes, great guy, and I watched his 6-hour course on
I did
personal
too.
branding. Yeah, that's very good. And of course, I recognize in this, optimize for trust and not necessarily for views. Many people are obsessed with the things that they can immediately see, things like numbers. And I think the same thing happens with money in entrepreneurship. Many people just they want to get, and that's why I think drop shipping is so hype, and has been hype, because everybody wants the instant gratification. But you're not looking at the value you provide. You're just looking at the numbers that you want. But for that, you trade. I'm going to rephrase this. A quote that stuck with me from Chris Williamson is, "Don't trade happiness for the things that's supposed to get it." Many people
Mm,
trade their money in order to be happy, but they trade their happiness in order to get the money.
mm.
So they do not provide the value, which should be the thing that they want. Because you get happy if you can help somebody else, but you're looking at the
Yes.
numbers because you think the numbers are going to give you the happiness. So you trade the happiness for the things that's supposed to get it.
I think that's very well said. I think that that's the number one thing that I still struggle with is you, you want to be happy, and I tell myself I'm a happy dude. I mean, I think I am. I try my best to remain happy and positive, but on the other side of it, listen, like there's a lot of uncertainty in the life of a content creator, of an entrepreneur, somebody who's trying to do something different. Listen, I graduated from the top university in the world. Everyone around me is getting high paying jobs right now. Everything is kind of telling me this is what I should do. But the thing that I stick with is like, listen, for me, I feel like I have this passion and I have this ability to help others, that there's no job title that kind of fits what I can do to help a community. So the best way I can do it is go ahead and provide it myself. And then on top of it, like there's no better feeling, as I just said before, than providing the value. But the problem is, listen, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm broke as hell right now. Like,
Got you, brother.
yeah, I mean, listen, that's part of it. So I think a lot of people is like, all right, like, I'm broke and I'm working 12-hour days. Where's the happiness? But I think we're going back into it. Like, you got to be happy in what you're doing. Because the 12-hour days, yes, like they get long. Yes, there's days where I'm like, oh my God, like I would love to just, be able to look in the bank account and know I can like take a deep breath and not work as hard today. But I enjoy what I'm doing, so it makes me okay. And I think the big difference is, if you're optimizing your life for money and return, you're never going to be happy because you think money is the happiness thing. And then you get it. And then you realize that the gap is the value, the thing you're actually doing. So for me, it's like, all right, if I can build something that I actually love to do and money can come with it, that's the ultimate goal. Even if it takes 3 more years than drop shipping or whatever, like selling a random course that I can get paid off of, like that's not as valuable as doing what I want to do.
I think that's beautiful. I think it's beautiful that you focus on the value. I have similar things. Many people around me are working full time. I also want to talk about education for like in a little second. But I come from the countryside, and many people around me there, they all went into construction or into a trade or something like that, and they're making big buck now. They make big money now, but the thing that they sacrifice is the bigger money that comes in the future.
Mm.
So they trade the long term value that they can provide, but also get for the instant gratification of having money now. But it, it might be an outsider's perspective, but I don't think that most of them are aware that if they either stay in college for a year longer, or if they do something they really love for a year longer and struggle with that for a little bit, that the potential of earning is going to be so much higher. because it's all exponential. Eventually, when you build something, and especially if you do it from an internal motivation of providing value or of doing something you love, I think the potential in, especially in earning, but also in value that you can provide, is so much higher than doing something that's going to give you money now.
But that's the thing. I mean, things are supposed to be hard. And I think what we've lost in 2026, where everyone is seeing other people succeed quick, is that things are supposed to be hard. People see the person who posts their first post on social media and he gets 2 million views and they get 50,000 followers. But okay, that's great. Good for that person, but that's not your journey. And I think that when you see other people succeed in different ways and faster, you automatically think, oh, well, I'm not seeing the success in my life. Maybe this is not built for me. But what happened to the people who liked struggling, like are going through something hard to succeed? Because like it's you're not supposed to wake up with $1 million in your bank account. Like that's not how that works. You're supposed to do something good first, and then after you do something good for free for a little bit. Right now, most of the work I do is for free. I'll be very honest with you. I get on the phone with parents, families for free half of my day.
With the same.
And it's just like, listen, like that, I'm okay to do that because I have to earn trust. I need to earn credibility. I need to develop as I'm doing this. And after you develop trust, you develop value, you keep growing. That's when the returns come. But going back to it, I mean, people don't want to struggle or go through anything hard anymore because they see other people who are doing it already. And you just think that could be your life tomorrow. But some people, you don't know what is behind the journey of, like, for example, my favorite is Mr. Beast because his journey is right there for us to watch. You could watch his journey through YouTube. You can watch his channel. You can go back to his first video. You can see the growth. Most people, you can't really see the growth behind the scenes. So you think it's an overnight success, but it's really not.
I have the same problem because aspiring to be not the biggest podcast in the world, because I think that in order to achieve the biggest podcast in the world, you have to generalize in order to be available to a wide audience. And I would like to niche down a little bit, but at least I'm aiming to do this full time. But what I see in myself is when I look at Chris Williamson, for instance, or Joe Rogan, or Chris Griffin, or any of the other big podcasters, I see episode 1100, 2500, and they all look perfect. Great cameras, great audio, great studio, got their own thing. And then I'm looking at my episode at 11 and I'm like, damn, man, I'm really fucking falling behind. Like I'm not doing enough. Where do I get 50 grand from in order to get the right cameras and the right studio? But the comparison is wrong. Because if you go back to Rogan's episode 11, that shit didn't even have cameras. If you go back to Chris Williamson episode 11, that was terrible. And you can, and in your example with Mr. Beast, if you go back, but you have to compare yourself with where you're at. Preferably, you have to compare yourself with yourself, because that's the one and only most honest comparison that you can get.
Mhm.
Am I better than yesterday? Is my new podcast episode better than the last one or my video?
Yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head with that right there. Is something I've learned literally this month is I used to be a person that wanted perfection in everything I did. So if I was recording a podcast episode, this is part of the reason that my first podcast, I think, did not go the way I was supposed to. I wanted to have the best quality. I wanted to have the highest production. I wanted to have the best post production. I wanted to make the best clips to exist. And I was the bottleneck because I was spending 3-4 weeks just getting things set up. Like I would spend money on a professional videographer to come in with professional equipment to set up the podcast. And it looked great. I look back at it now and crazy again. It's an unpublished episode, which says it all. Like, wow, that's ridiculous. But you spend all this money in production and it's one episode versus now, for example, the other day I wanted to do an interview and I just opened up my MacBook and I used my webcam. And I was like, this is crazy because this is such a huge step back than what I used to do. But I had a thought. And another thing I learned from watching Higher Up On This is like your thought to action time should be reduced as much as possible. So if I have a thought and I can go ahead and do this thought as quick as possible, that's the best chance for me to do it and do it well and say what I actually want to say. So I'm like, all right, I did an interview. After the interview, I had thoughts in the interview. So you know what? Screw it. I opened up my camera, went to Riverside, press record, 11-minute episode, done. It's an episode. Versus the 2 weeks of preparation I would do beforehand to get a 35-minute episode done that ended up only producing 10,000 plus views. Like it's not worth it. Simplicity when you're first starting is the goal and is key.
Yes, I waited 2 years in order to produce my first podcast episode because I was working very hard to get all the gear. And
Yeah.
all the gear is it's a fuck ton of money if you want to have
Hmm.
the right gear. Um, and now I have all the right gear, and I'm like, man, I wish I had the experience of 2 years of just producing, even if I didn't release them. That would have been fine. But I waited because I was like, okay, I'm not going to be good enough, or the episode's not going to be how I want. But perfection is a form of procrastination
Yes.
because it's all inaction that eventually drives it.
Yes. Yeah. There's something pretty about the cringy shit. I'm be honest with you. Like,
It's authentic.
man, I look at some of my stuff now, and I'm like, even still, because I'm still posting cringe. I'm still in the early phases of my growth. And I'm still posting the cringiest shit to exist. I'm watching my videos and I'm like, oh my God. But I'm like, I'm posting this because like it's cringy to me, but it's not cringy to other people. They don't know you. They don't understand your manners. They don't understand your habits. So you're watching yourself and you're your biggest critic, but other people don't understand that about you. I hear me pronounce a word a certain way. I hear myself have this little like this whatever. I don't deliver a message as good as possible. And it's like, oh, you start overthinking. Maybe I shouldn't post this. I don't want to get judged. I don't whatever. But once you get past that, and the way you get past that is just by doing it, like that 100-day challenge was the best thing ever because by day 40, you're probably like, I just literally don't care anymore. Like I'm just posting random thoughts. No one's watching this. Like I'm going to say whatever I want. And it's like the most liberating feeling ever that most people don't get past on social media, which is why people get stopped in the first place. So, bro, I like the cringy stuff. I'm telling you, like I still create it and I watch it. And I'm like, this is kind of funny to look back on. Like this was terrible.
Yeah, but it's the start of your story. It makes you
Exactly.
authentic. What's a word of advice for people who use perfectionism as a form of procrastination?
Yeah. Um, I mean, you have to understand you're in your own way. Like you're the issue right now with your life. You want to blame everybody else and you want to find a reason that you're not succeeding, but the reason you're not succeeding is because you're not starting. And I think the second you realize that and the second you get out of your own way and just start, the better you'll see the outcomes in your life. Like if you want to be, I don't know, like let's go super random here. Let's say to you want to start, screw it. Never mind, not random. You want to start making YouTube videos. This is just the easy thing I always go back to. The best thing you could do right now is start recording your video today on your iPhone camera. Use your iPhone, do the front facing camera, back facing camera, vlog your day. If you have nothing you want to talk about, do something and just post it and then do it again the next week. And set a goal for yourself that every Saturday you're going to post a video and then just record on your iPhone and then just get into the habit of posting and then just show up again and then show up again and then show up again. And over time, what's going to happen is you're going to get better. You're going to get consistent. And it's going to become a habit for you. Now that I have a habit ingrained in my mind from me posting 100 days straight on social media, if I don't post for a day, I feel uneasy. Something feels wrong. I feel out of it. I'm like, what's going on? So the way to not be the way to not let perfectionism get in the way is understand that being a perfectionist probably isn't the goal. I don't want to be a perfectionist. I used to. I don't want to be because no one wants to listen to a perfectionist. You know what I mean?
Hmm. And there's so many things you don't learn from watching a YouTube video on how to create content. But even if it's something else, even if you want to go, let's say, start your football career, you don't learn things from the books or from videos or from creators. And there's so many things. Like, as I said, I waited 2 years before I created my first episode of the podcast. I watched probably every video on how to make a podcast. My first episode went completely to shit just because I didn't prepare. And I did prepare, but I didn't have the experience of actually doing the thing. And
Yeah.
one thing that I still wanted to say about that is like I think optimism, people usually overestimate. We go so far in thinking about the negatives. If I say this to my boss, I might get fired. Therefore, I lose all my money. Therefore, I lose my house and my girlfriend. I can't eat. Don't have any friends to call up. I'll be homeless, sleeping on a bridge. Next thing, I'm dead. But you never do that the positive way.
Hmm.
So you're always in your head about like, okay, how can this go wrong? And it makes sense. It's a survival mechanism, but it doesn't make sense in today's world anymore. We don't have saber-toothed tigers in the streets. And everybody has a friend or a parent or a brother or sister that they can call like, hey, can I crash on the couch? If everything really goes to shit. Alex Ramosi slept in a gym. That's it's all the origin story. But why do we not be that delusional if it comes towards the positive impact that things can have.
Mm. You're saying just like be delusional about things going well in your life?
I think so, because you're delusional about the things that are not going well in your life.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
nothing
Yeah.
goes as bad as you think it's gonna go,
Yeah. Yeah.
ever.
Yeah. I think that's a video I watched. I forget who it was, but that's something that it was talking about. It's just like be delusional about your success, and like you have to embody your future self. So if you want to be somebody, you have to be that person today. So for you, I mean, you want to be a top podcast. You already are. You know what I mean? And if you think that way, then when it comes, one, you're prepared for it, and two, you already start acting like that. So if I want to be the person in my niche to, educate these athletes, help families, make tough decisions about college and recruiting, then for me, I have to believe that everything I'm saying and everything I'm doing kind of embodies the person I want to be today. Like, and yeah, I mean, that's the best thing I could say about, being delusional about positivity is like, if you can embody your future self and become the person today that you want to be in 2 years, that's the fast track way, I think, to success, because now you're not acting in fear. Now you're just acting as the person you already want to be. So there's this video that talked about how to do this. And it was, talking about write down all the qualities of the person that you want to be in 2 years, how they act, what they do in the morning, their morning routine, who their friends are, what they don't do. Do they work out? Are they active? Do they have a dog? Do they have a girlfriend? Like just all the things that you really want to see in your life. And then once you write those things down and that's who you are, be that person. Because what's stopping you from being the person who wakes up every morning at 5 a.m., goes to the gym, works out super hard, has 4 hours of deep work, eats very healthy at lunchtime, goes out in the night if you're a single man looking for a partner and is not afraid to go ahead and see a pretty lady that you like and say, hey, I think you're beautiful. Like, I don't know, this super small random things, but like why, if you want to be that person, why are you not doing it? I mean, that's just kind of how I look at it. And I think it's an important thing to think about.
You can already live the life you want by just starting with the habits that the person that you want to be already has.
Yes.
Like if I want to be the biggest podcaster in the world, I have to make podcasts, publish them on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Instagram. What's stopping me from recording podcasts and posting them on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and make sure it's on Instagram?
Nice. Very well said. Yes.
Yeah. I had one of my previous guests was, I think the best way to describe it is a mental coach. And he really talked about believing in yourself and feel like you're already the person you want to be.
Hmm.
I think that's a very good thing. I also think I also don't agree with some parts. And I'm interested to your opinion, because the first thing that comes to mind is you don't get confidence by shouting affirmations in the mirror. You gain confidence by having a stack of undeniable proof of being who you like, who having a stack of undeniable proof that you are who you say you are. So I think I also need a little bit of proof, but starting with the habits is a very good start. And I also think sometimes it's very okay to say, okay, I'm not being the person that I want to be.
Hmm.
And I think I think sometimes it's very good to stay in the moment and be like, okay, this I'm fucking this up, but at least it's within my control. You gain
Yeah.
authority back over your life by not being delusional for a little second.
100%. I think
What are your thoughts?
honest, honest self-assessment is the first thing that came to mind when you said what you said. If you can self-assess where you're currently at and kind of the things that you're screwing up, where am I messing up right now in my life? What are the things that are holding me back? Is it I can't get off the video game? Um, I drink alcohol and alcohol is serving me negatively. Um, I don't know. Like what you have to really self-assess your current situation and see what are some of the things that are holding me back. And if you want to change, you have to immediately remove them from your life. Um, but also be aware enough to like notice these things. A lot of people have issues and they're too afraid to say that they're issues. And if you can't get past that, and those are things that are holding you back, you're never going to succeed. You're never going to succeed if you know that every single weekend you spend your time binge watching TV shows and you have 48 hours on the weekend to really work on something to separate yourself. I'll stand by. I always call Sunday Separation Sunday. No one works on Sundays. Sorry, 95%, there's no statistics to prove this, are not working on Sundays. And that's completely okay. I think that there's something to speak for rest. But for the people who are looking to make something of value and you're nowhere yet and you're kind of in the weeds trying to make something happen, Sunday's the day to get it done because everyone is waking up late, everyone is hanging out, everyone's, in the pool, especially in the
Hungover.
summertime, going to hungover from Saturday night. I mean, yeah. And if you can wake up early Sunday and make Sunday the most productive day of the week, oh my, like that's golden. So I think what you said is true. Like there's something to speak for, like showing like you need social proof, but you don't need that much. Like for me, social proof looked like I posted 57 days straight, got about 150 views on each video. 58th day I made the video, I got 4,600. And I was like, oh, okay, 4,600 views. I like this. I can do something with this. And then I was like, let me try this again. 10K. Whoa, okay, I'm 5 digits now. Okay. Had this random idea to go deeper into that. Boom, 1 million. Just like that. But for me, it was a mixture of consistency, figuring out myself, because part of this that people don't realize is like the first part of your journey is going to be figuring out yourself. You can't you can't be a person with 1 million followers generating 5, 6, 7 figures of revenue a month, and you have no clue who you are and what you do and what you want to do and what you want to provide to the world.
All right. What I really liked about that is the one advice that I have for most people, and not that I'm in a position to give any advice, but
Yes, you are.
just by falling on my ass for a couple times. But the biggest thing that people seem to not do these days is figure out themselves. And as you
Mm,
said, that's the start of a whole career. I made already 100 videos about this, but I really like Paul Girard. He's a French philosopher, and he came up with mimetic desires. So a meme, we all know a meme on Instagram, on social media. It's something that goes viral because it's something. It's funny or it's wisdom or something like that. And he has the idea that memes can also be cultural things. So wanting a Rolex to just but wanting a Rolex can be a meme because it's a cultural thing that goes viral that people really want. But he also has a thing called mimetic desires. You want something. Many people are chasing or are many people are living their lives chasing things that they don't inherently want.
mm,
They just want other people to see that they have it.
mm.
They
Yes.
want the things that provide value in comparison to other people. The pretty girl, the fast car, the big house, but those things are hard to get, but that doesn't make them valuable.
Mm,
But because
mm,
it's hard to get, other people think, okay, well, this is super valuable because there's only like 100 in the world. But that doesn't mean that it's going to be valuable to you.
mm,
So the biggest advice that I want to tie into what you said is take one Sunday or take 10 minutes. It only takes you can do it in 10 to figure out what is it that I want. And not what is it that I want to want, like pop the balloon on that one. But what do you really want? Get in touch with yourself. As you said, you can't build a million followers if you don't know who you are, if you don't know what you base upon, if you don't know who you want to speak to.
mm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Listen, I think that what you said is really valuable and it's something that I continue to want and continue to do with myself is, but then I think that to dive deeper into this, there's two different types of wants. There's the want that I think there's like um some of for example, I'll say this. Part of me to this day is still stuck in looking at how many followers I'm producing on my social media accounts.
Yes.
Um, I wake up and I'm like, did I not get more followers today? Did I not grow? Did I not build my audience? And if that happens, I feel a little down on myself. And I'm like, why am I not growing? Why am I not growing? Why am I not growing? And I mean, it's natural for a creator. I think it's very fair and it's something that happens to all of us. But if I'm true about what I speak about and everything I talk about, if it's not about followers and it's about value, then I do believe that if you provide value, followers will come. But I think the key difference here is one part of you wants the external validation, wants the external, and then the internal side of you wants the things that you actually innately desire. I desire to help others. Who exactly do I want to help? I have my specific niche. I internally, I feel the best when I go ahead and serve that purpose. Externally, I feel the best when, if you see me on Instagram, you see, I don't know, 10K in front of my name, 20K, 30K, a blue check. Like you see all these things that give me like validation. I'm a validated person. You can trust me. I'm the person you want to watch. And I think all of us are told by the world that that's what we should be chasing after. And it makes it hard for us to reconnect with the thing that we should actually be chasing after, which is what I just talked about. Me wanting to help others and provide value in the world, which I think that's why we're all here. People are like, I don't know. I always in my head randomly on a Saturday if I don't get good enough sleep. Oh, well, why are we all here? What's the point of life? Like not in a bad way, more of just like in a pensive way. And it goes back to, I truthfully believe humans are here to help one another. We're here to learn from one another. We're here to build relationships. We're here to make the world a better place by the time we leave it. It isn't to flaunt money. It's not to flaunt followers on Instagram. It's not to just grow something random and spend all your money on houses, cars, or whatever. But I think that's what status looks like, and that's what success looks like in the world today.
How did you figure out that that was what you wanted?
Oh, well, I mean, I'm not even fully there yet. I think it's one of those things that I get better with day by day. Um, but for me, just through failing and having things not go well, the first part of my life was playing the sport of football, American football, and it was the biggest thing in my life for 23 years. And when I was younger, my dream was to play professionally. And I think that was my dream up until, maybe 2, 3 years ago. But what I saw happen is a little bit of insecurity, lack of belief in myself, and things of that nature pulled me away from the thing I love the most. And I lost trust in myself. I spent most of my time playing the sport, being, scared and not confident and insecure versus actually enjoying the moments on the field that I'm never going to get a chance to have again. And, as I look back, it's something that, I don't want to use the word regret, but it's something that I think fuels me in this next part of my life because, the first part of my life with football didn't necessarily go the way I hoped for it to go, but I have tons of things I learned from it that I can apply to the next part of my life, which is what I'm doing now, to make sure I'm, being who I say I want to be.
I think that's good. Being who you say you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's the biggest thing that you got out of American football? Because you felt, yeah, and man, I've many questions about this. I think I find this very very interesting. You spent so long doing something that you really want. Was it your innate desire to play American football, or was it something that you saw big people do and you were like, "This is something"?
Yeah, yeah. I grew up loving football. Football was the thing I loved from day one, and my uncle played in the NFL. My oldest brother played football.
Damn,
I think watching them was something that kind of got me going a little bit. And I don't know, from the youngest age, I have pictures of me holding the football, playing football. I always loved it.
must have been quite the change then. To say I'm gonna course correct.
Yeah, I mean, listen,
Took some balls.
it's been about 60 plus days at this point. It's been about 2, 3 months since it's happened. And it was my decision. First, my final season, which was at Yale during my 5th season. This was the past fall. My plan was to have my best season ever, which is why I decided to come back. I had an extra year of eligibility and I used it at Yale. And it started out great. I had my best game that I had week 2. Week 1, I was hurt with a hamstring injury. And
Fuck.
then week 3, went into a game and things were going well. And then out of nowhere, went to jump for a ball, fell on my wrist. And I got something called a perilunate dislocation. It's the rarest injury you can get on your wrist. And done for the season, just like that. So you go from being on top of the world, like week 2 was great for me. Statistically solid game, but like on film, like I was open every play. I could have had in my head 203. Like I could have went crazy that game. That could have been truthfully my breakout game. But I was confident it was going to happen because I saw it. Like the quarterback was new. We were connecting. We were going to need to go. Week 3 comes around and boom, injury happens just like that. Season's over, done. Because of that, I got an extra year again. So this was my extra season. Because I got hurt, I got that year back again. So I was like, after the injury, my first thought was immediately, I'm going to go get this thing again. What I didn't realize is the next 6 months of my life consisted of things changing for me. I was in a cast. I couldn't move my wrist for 3 months. all I did during my time away was I started doing this podcast. I started getting into entrepreneurship and business. I was not training. So when I finally transferred and got back to football, my body hurt so bad. My passion was no longer there. The trust in myself completely went down. And I started asking myself, why am I still doing this? The innate desire, as you asked me before, was gone. And it was a tough thing to wrap around my head that my window of opportunity that I had, I think I did not maximize on. And I was holding on to this dream that was no longer something that I necessarily dreamed of as an individual. I more dreamed of getting that 1,000-yard season to prove to others that I could do it, because I always think I could, and I never did it. And I was like, I can't end this part of my life not showing to everyone that I was successful. And I held on to that. And that's what drove me every single day. I was like, I'm going to prove to everyone. I'm going to prove, I'm prove, I'm prove. And you can't live life thinking that way, because it's so tiring and mentally exhausting to wake up for other people. So once I finally came to my senses with that, which took some time, long conversations with my girlfriend, my family, and listen, I made the decision. I was in Tennessee, which is a 13-hour drive away from where I live in Jersey. Called the coaches. I packed up my apartment, paid a huge termination fee that cost me lots of money, and came back to the East Coast. It was a tough decision, but it was the right one, and it was a hard one that needed to be made.
Do you think that if you hadn't, what would have happened if you didn't get the injury?
I don't know, and it's something that
It's always what a,
yeah, I mean, that's something that I've wrestled with for a while, because my team went on to go to the playoffs and had phenomenal season. And then one of the receivers who was playing with me at the time, by this point, he wasn't necessarily a standout by any means. He was not playing for the first 3 seasons. He came in and he ended up being the best receiver in the league and ended up being an All-American. And he ended up now transferring to a bigger school and getting tons of money to do so. And it was really cool to watch him and his journey from the sidelines. And, part of you always thinks, oh, wow, like, could I have done the same thing if I was healthy? But that's, for me, luckily for me, it's like, because of my love for him, my teammates, it was more of like a really cool feeling to watch all of them. But there were moments where it hurt to not be out there and be like, wow, like, what could have been if I was a part of this?
of course. That's, yeah. It's, uh, of course, we love the people around us, but sometimes it's also like, bummer.
Yeah.
I wish.
Yeah. Yeah. It hurts. I mean, listen, I was sitting in the hospital. I
You
the
should have
the
called it the podcast. If you had a cast around your arm and you started the
should
podcast,
have
dude, you
should have.
should have.
There's some good stuff right there. That would have been some great
That
stuff. I'm telling you.
That's good
Um,
copywriting.
yeah, I mean, but man, like, yeah, sitting in the I remember I was watching our first game after the injury, sitting in the hospital, and it was such a, I don't necessarily reflect back on this moment too much, and I need to, because like this was probably one of the hardest things I had to go through, but I think I just laughed my way through it and made it seem like things were okay, but they weren't. I still necessarily haven't talked. This is the first time, like, I don't really talk about this. This is the first time I'm really talking about it. Other than like with my girlfriend occasionally, my
I
family a little
appreciate
bit,
it.
but yeah, of course. I mean, listen, it's never necessarily been asked, so I just, it's more the things I just push off. And if someone says, "How are you?" Then sometimes they're not really asking to really know. Oh, I'm doing terrible. You know what I mean? So it's like, listen, the injury was a tough time. It was a very tough time in my life. It was kind of like the dream that you finally think you could have like attained, boom, got taken away. And you were like, why me? I'd never been injured in my career ever. Been healthy my whole career. Why now? Why me? Why this? And, sitting in the hospital bed, watching your team play, and you're not a part of it anymore, and you feel yourself slowly just like drifting away from everything you've known. It was probably the toughest transition I've had. And there were really dark, hard moments that, I reflect on and no one ever knows about. But I will say I'm so much better because of it. And I've had the most growth I've had in the past 6 months because of it. And it probably took something this drastic to have me have the realizations and have me have the growth and kind of push me to where I'm hopefully going to be in the next 6, 7 months because of it.
First and foremost, I'm sorry you went through that, because
Thank you.
that's shit.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah.
But those are also the moments that shape you.
Exactly.
However, it's not always the realization in the moment. So what I always like to, if something happens, I'm I'm not necessarily, I don't believe in a specific God. Like let's call it the universe. But I always try to keep in my mind, this must happen for a reason. And I might not know it now. It's not going to be that clear until maybe even a couple of years. But this must happen for a reason. And for you, like, I'm really sorry you had to go through that, because that sounds like a really tough time. And first and foremost, it's a fucked up injury. I don't even know what it is, and I know a lot about training and injuries and stuff. But also not being a part of something you wanted to be a part of that bad.
Mhm.
But that was the thing that kickstarted you into something that I get the impression that is really valuable to you.
I think so. I think that I don't know what would have happened if. Well, my intention, I was supposed to still be playing football right now at my new school, but I left. So, you know, up until 60 days ago, I couldn't tell you that I thought I would be here doing this. But I think that it's the right thing. I think that as I wake up every single day, I wake up with a sense of, passion towards what I'm doing. And I mean, in terms of it, I'm not obviously diving too much into it because it's not, I think, the point of this episode. But I think for me, it's like, listen, I want to help others. And for me, as a person who was an Ivy League football player who had a lot of success in the league on and off the field, I've realized and watched others struggle in the league to, figure out life after football. Like if you graduate from Yale, everyone has heard of Yale and knows it's a great school. You should be graduating with some sort of thing figured out in your life. But
Hmm.
because, we're still football players and that's all we care about and love, a lot of them don't. And a lot of people in high school who want to get to the league have no clue how to get there. And they think it's not a dream for them. But like, listen, as me doing it, it's a very attainable thing. And it's something that is life changing for a lot of families. So I'm like, if I can help people on this journey that I just went on and give them the invaluable lessons that I learned to help them succeed, why would I not do that? So I think what I talk about now in terms of helping others and providing to others is something that I've recently started literally 60 days ago. But the value and like the good feeling you get when you get the message of I'm so grateful for your videos because you helped us navigate this tough decision is so much more valuable than anything I could have done on a field or anything I could have done at an investment banking job or anything I could have done to make somebody richer or somebody like this is what matters. This is what I think the purpose of all of us is. That's why we're all here. And it feels great to be able to do it.
I think that's a beautiful message, man. Honestly.
Thank you. Thank you.
Honestly. And I think you provide a lot of value. Of course, I went to all the 282 non-trial posts of you to see if I can find some gems. I found a couple gems. I don't have that
Okay.
much time anymore. But
Cool.
my last guest gave me the advice, you really got to push the limits at least once in your life. He's an MMA fighter, so he was like, everybody has to step in the ring, and I was like, not everybody should be getting into the ring,
I'm not
but we
stepping in the
did.
ring.
Dude, stepping in the ring is something. Like I've done Dutch championships by myself, so like I'm familiar with stepping in the ring. But the point that I think that was really good that he made was you have to recalibrate your bar. The worst thing that ever happened to you is the worst thing that ever happened to you. Some people don't go out of the house their entire life, stub their toe, and that's a 10 out of 10 on the scale of uncomfort that they have in their life. And some people go through bankruptcy of a $50 million enterprise, lose their wife, their house, and their dog. Then that's a 10. But you have to recalibrate the scale to the things that you think you can actually go through. What's your one advice for the people listening?
Hmm. And this could be anything.
This can literally be anything. If you say get a dog, get a dog.
Hmm. Okay. Let me say this. All right. All right. What I truthfully believe, and I think I'm kind of the living proof of this, is that if there's something that you believe is your calling, is important to you, something that you want to attain, you deserve and owe it to yourself to go 100% after it. And this is something that I've learned recently. I was a person who's always believed that you should put your eggs into multiple baskets so you can be a multi-dimensional person who has tons of different options and opportunities in their life. And I still remember to this day, one of my teammates, his name is David Pantelis. He's at Stanford right now. And he was giving his senior speech to the team. And he said, I've always been somebody who believes in putting all their eggs into one basket. And if things don't work out for you, then just keep going. And then my boy told me about the Kobe Bryant story of like, if you put all your eggs in one basket and there's no more eggs, then go make some more and keep going. Because there's no reason that you need to stop. There's no reason you cannot achieve what you want to achieve. It just takes, as we talked about from from the beginning of this episode, it takes consistency, it takes persistence, and it takes unrelenting belief in yourself. And if you can find a way to just keep pushing the needle, I truthfully believe on the other side of it, you'll see success that you want in your life.
That's beautiful. Shall we end it there? And then do a part 2 soon?
I'm cool for that, bro.
Where can people find you?
Sure. You can find me on Instagram. It's a little tricky. It's I'm Mason, but I did some dots in between. I made this as a burner account.
Everything is coming in the caption as well.
Great. Yeah. It grew. So I'm like, all right, this is no longer my burner account. It's my main account. So I'm Mason on Instagram. I just started a YouTube. I'm 4 episodes in. So it's just Mason Shipp 2. And if anybody wants to hit me up anytime, DMs, messages always open.
It's beautiful. Thank you for today. Thank you for your time. I really like how grounded you are. Like you seem to be very in touch with with you wanting to provide value for people. Even though it was difficult sometimes, you went through some shit. Probably even more than I know, but it's
Yes,
also
sir.
a part of life. Makes you a
Yeah,
man.
100%.
But thank you.
Thank you.
Wise words.
Yeah, I
All
appreciate
right.
you.
See you next time.
Yes, sir.
Okay.